Another episode of Inside Pogo. This is actually the first interview I did. It was with the tech legend, Earl Pote. We talk about his first pogopalooza experience, some of his injuries, and of course we go down memory lane, talk about some old stories. Earl also has a signature series pogo stick, the Earl Pote signature series. It's a souped up super pogo. All the modifications have been designed and tested by Earl himself. To get more information about the Earl Pote signature series, check out All Pogo. Link is in the description. Now just sit back and enjoy this talk with Earl Pote.
Just pogo sticks?
Just pogo stick. So before you had a pogo stick, just your first memory. Like what made you want to get that first pogo stick, I guess? It's a tough one.
Yeah. Oh, man. When I was really young, I remember this. It's kind of like I was really young. I was in probably like a Walmart or something, and I saw a pogo stick, and I was with my dad, and for some reason, this was way before I even started like pogoing, So I must have been like 9 or 10 or something like that. But I saw one, and I was like, I just thought it was like the coolest thing in the world. And at that point, I thought it was so cool, and then I never even thought about it again until, me and Brian, the whole story when we found that bottom spring at the festival. But yeah, that was my first impression of a pogo stick. I just thought it was so cool looking. I don't know. I thought there was a lot of potential in it even when I was like 10 years old.
That's awesome.
But then I never thought about it again. And then eventually, it came up, and then same thing. I thought it was so cool. And then the rest is history.
How old were you and Brian when you got that bottom spring?
12.
What was that?
12.
12. Oh, nice. So a couple of years. Yeah, my first pogo stick, I just wanted a pogo stick for Christmas. I have no idea like how I knew what a pogo stick was. I just knew it was like, I want a pogo stick for Christmas when I was 7. And then I got it and I turned 8. My birthday's 2 days after Christmas. So that was I was like,
yeah.
I just want a pogo stick.
I want to say I asked for one for like Christmas or something when I was even younger, but then for some reason I didn't get it, and then I just forgot about it. One of those things.
I wanted a pogo stick and a unicycle.
Yeah.
I was bound to join the circus. I was like, it was in my blood apparently.
Yeah, unicycles are fun.
I still can't ride one.
Really?
Yeah.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Oh,
anytime I get on a unicycle, I immediately try to start jumping because that's just my instinct. If I start falling, just to jump.
It's pretty easy to do that on a unicycle.
Yeah, I've never
jump on it.
Yeah, jump on it. Like that I can do that, but I can't actually ride it. I've never been able to ride it.
It's so hard. It makes you really respect the guys that do the freestyle stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like if I spent probably half as much time pogo sticking, I think I'd be pretty good at unicycling.
Yeah, right.
So kind of playing off of that, give us like a 30-second history of your pogo stick and like how long you've been jumping. Doesn't have to be 30 seconds, but just a brief history. If you had to explain your life in an ad, what would it be?
Oh man. Right. So I started pogoing when I was 12 in 2002 with Brian Punyett. We started the Pogo cult in I think 2004. I got my first flybar 1200 in 2004, and then from there I went to Moto Sticks, to the V1, and then I did a lot of big air when I was younger, and then I just kind of started getting into tech. Did tech for a while, pretty much quit, and then Yeah, I don't know. There's so much. It's hard to put that in 30
I
seconds.
know, right? But it's good. It makes you think and just pops out a couple of things. What was your first impression of the 1200? Because at that point, there was like going from GG or whatever you had bottom spring to 1200 was just that's a pretty unique experience, I think.
What was the question? You kind of
What
cut
was
out a little
your
bit.
what was your first experience when you got to 1200? Like your initial thoughts?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so um before that I was on I was at, oh, you can actually see it. That was the exact that
Oh,
black ergo where I put a spring in it. That was my very first pogo stick, that one right there.
oh, awesome.
Um that was the pogo stick I used in like Pogo Cult 1 and stuff.
Springo.
I think I was using that and then the GG here and there. And then I got a Flybar 1200 for I think it was Christmas or birthday or something like that. And I remember engaging all the thrusters, thinking that I would just like magically jump higher, and not knowing that it was just going to be like jumping on a rock. Because at that point, I was probably 110 pounds or something like that. And yeah, it was very weird going from a regular spring pogo stick and then big air type thing, which it was for all of us. We never did that before.
Yeah, I remember I tried one at Pogopalooza 1. They Flybar sent one to Dave to bring to Pogopalooza, and yeah, I was 15, probably like 115 pounds maybe. The thing like came up to here on me. And I was like, "This is the greatest thing ever!" But
I'll show you something.
so hard to use.
This is the pogo stick that Dave brought to Pogopalooza 1. This exact one.
Whoa!
He gave it to me when I visited him.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's got the. Oh, you can't really tell. It's got the black like prototype thrusters in there, I guess. Then it doesn't.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, he gave this to me when I visited him. He said it was the one he brought to Pogopalooza 1.
Oh, that's
Kind of
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That that beats my pogo sticks I have behind me. Oh man, yeah, that was such a unique experience going from a GG. Well, I went from Pogo Roo. I had a GG for probably just a couple months, maybe 6, 8 months, and then went to 1200. There was a lot of like transition time. I remember the GG being like so big on me too. I was like, this pogo stick's too big. I like my little Pogo Roo.
Yeah, I remember when Brian first got a GG, I jumped on it. And I was like, "This is so big. It doesn't. It's ridiculous." Like, yeah, whenever I saw videos or whatever, I thought it was just like kind of like a Pogo Roo size. Like I had no idea it was that huge. I remember seeing that. That was crazy.
It doesn't help that Dave and Nick are all like a foot taller than me.
Right. Yeah.
Especially when I was like 15. I was probably like 5 foot nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. What is your current life like outside of Pogo now?
Oh man. It's definitely eh, just a standard friggin' working life. Right now, I'm fortunate. I work in construction, so um, you know, you work, you get laid off, that type of thing. But I've been on a long-term job for since September. I'm a union boilermaker, so I'll be doing that until like summer. Fortunate to be working as much as I am, but it does kind of suck. I'm working like 10-hour shifts, 6 days a week. Today is my only day off,
Well,
so
thanks for jumping on this on your day
yeah,
off.
yeah. Well, I want to put more time towards all pogo and my time off. I'm studying for an advancement test because I'm an apprentice. So every 6 months, I got to take an advancement test to go up 5%.
Oh, nice.
until I get to journeyman. So um, I've been doing that during my free time, but I take my test Tuesday, so I'll have a lot more free time
That's
after
good.
that.
That'll be good. Get some
Yeah.
more stuff working on.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about some injuries? I know you had a couple surgeries. I don't know if everyone. I know you wrote a little article about it, but I don't know if you want to go in a little more detail on what exactly happened and how stupid injuries are.
All right. Um, well, just go off. So I broke my back in 20 2016. The last time I front flipped before that was 2011, I think. I joined the military in 2012. I pretty much just kind of stopped doing big air because it was just becoming a hassle. So I wanted to prove to myself that I could still do it in 2016. And I was doing it into a mat, but I flipped over the mat and landed on my tailbone. And then I compressed my spine and I fractured my T12 vertebrae. And then the military doctor didn't figure it out. So I had to go to like a secondary doctor for them to diagnose me right. And by the time they did that, it was too late. They said that if they would have caught it right away, I maybe could have had surgery, but at that point it had healed the way it healed. Um, but I'm so salty about that still. Freaking military doctors. Um, yeah, that is what it is. And then 2018, I had hip surgery because my hip was just, you know, wear and tear from going. Um, had a labral tear. I had like a cam deformity, some bone spurs, um, and then there were some like tendons that were really tight that they had to like manually stretch, I guess, because it was every time I took a step, my there was a tendon that would like roll over my hip bone and click every single time I took a step. So by the end of the day, it would get really sore, you know.
Yeah.
So I guess they found out that that was from just like my tendons being just like overworked and just really tight. So yeah, I had the surgery, and then unfortunately, I feel worse now than I did before my surgery. Luckily, my hip doesn't click anymore, but sometimes I can't like it just hurts to walk and do anything now. It's ridiculous.
How long ago was surgery?
2018.
A couple of years there.
Yeah, so it is what it's not gonna heal. Like
Yeah, did
I
they
had
say
hope.
anything like longer recovery or kind of it is what it is now?
No, I mean the last thing I did was I got like a shot in my hip, cortisone or something like that. You're probably familiar with that, right?
Yeah, I've gotten a few of those.
Yeah. So I got yeah. So that was unpleasant getting a shot in my hip joint. This and it didn't really do that much. It maybe did something for like a few days,
Yeah, I've
but
had hit or miss with cortisone.
yeah, so that didn't really do anything. So yeah, I don't know. They said that I might need like hip replacement surgery, maybe like a lot younger than I should.
Eek,
There said that that's almost definitely in my future at some point.
that's not fun. Is it so? It's just the
Um,
tendons and that's the tendons in the bone. I think what they could do. That's just ugh. That's never not fun. I'm just going through
no,
like all my injuries. And it's like, oh, yeah, maybe they could do something like this. Maybe they could do that. But yeah, that's never. Injuries suck.
yeah,
How much of that do you think
yeah. Other than
pogo
that,
pogo related? Like with your hips, do you think any of it's genetic, or do you think it's all just pogo related? All the
uh, I think they did say that it's somewhat genetic, but definitely, in my opinion, 100% pogo related because it's my left hip. It's the leg I always used for leg wraps. and like when I would be trying like leg wrap combos for hours and hours, my hip would hurt really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was younger, like this is when I was like probably 15 or something. Like when I was doing like the quadruple leg wrap, like that took me forever. And I remember like at the end of a session, my hip would just be killing me, and I was like, oh, I'm fine. But now it's just crazy how that turned into having hip surgery. You know?
Which foot do you peg tap with?
Right. And that's why my right knee is messed up because
Right knee on the stick, left leg kicking back. That also could be it too. All the
right.
reaching back with that hip, or all
Yeah,
the
right.
balance, because you're balancing with that leg, so maybe all that balancing overworks those tendons. Because you
Yeah.
are, I think, pretty decent at peg taps.
Yes.
Oh, that sucks. I hope they can do something.
Yeah. I don't know. See.
Well, maybe we should have not have started with that topic. That's just a downer. Let's let's bring it up a little
Yeah.
bit. What's your first pogopalooza?
What was that? 6. Yeah, Pogo 6 in Pittsburgh.
That was a big one.
Yeah. It's silly. I could have been to the first one. It was in Chicago. But no. But no, not the first one, the second one.
Yeah, second one.
But
Pogopalooza
you know,
2 in Chicago.
our parents our parents weren't cool with us going meeting up with people we only talked to online to the Pogo thing. So
Yeah, the Pogopalooza 1. I don't know how I convinced my parents to drive me out to Nebraska, but before we went out,
yeah.
I think my mom called Dan Brown's mom and had a long talk with her just to make sure, they were real people before we drove out
Yeah,
there and
right.
then drove on out. Was that your first time Pogopalooza 6 meeting Pogoers outside of the Pogo cult?
I think did I meet you before that? You and Nick during the Nick and Fred Pogo adventure. When was it?
Pogo
When was
Adventure
that?
would have been after that, I think. Or no, when was the first Pogo Adventure?
I don't remember.
I feel like the first Pogo
Well,
Adventure was after that.
It was after 2009.
I think that's
I don't know.
I gotta pull up YouTube really fast and look. I think I have it saved.
In 2009, I'm pretty sure at my. Oh no, I did have long hair at Pittsburgh. That's how I kind of base a lot of years off of because I didn't know when my hair was long or short. But yeah, my hair was long in Blues 6, and it was long when you came through Chicago too.
It looks like the first one was 2009. So Pogopalooza 6 would have been, let's see, 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it was that year.
It was 2009. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know if I saw you before or after that.
Well, my next question was, what was your experience jumping with other people for the first time?
Oh, that was crazy. Yeah, all I really ever pogo with was Brian. Really before that, and like Pat and stuff like that. But yeah, it was pogoing by yourself for so long, and then having other people to do it with is a lot more fun. A lot more like to try new things and stuff versus just a camera with a tripod. Yeah, I learned at Pogopalooza 6 that like I was just way better at everyone than tech, and it was like kind of crazy because I was like doing stuff and everyone's like so surprised at what I was doing, and then I realized that no one else was like doing any tech. It was weird. I found out that I was very alone at that point.
I ever think Pogopalooza 6 was like the turning point where most people first pogo stick was either a flybar or vertigo instead of like a GG.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was the turning point where that kind of became the norm. I remember my first
Right.
Pogopalooza. It was my first time I pogoed outside of myself. Just showing up to Dan Brown's house. Parents parked the car. I got out of the car. I just heard like the GG spring in the background. I'm like, oh, we're here. Just walked, carried my stick in the backyard. Didn't even say hi, just started jumping. And it was like, oh, Fred's here. Like they've never met me before. They just knew it was me from videos online and they knew I was showing up that day. It was such a weird experience.
Yeah. I remember that too. Just going to Pogopalooza 6 and just seeing other people do it was just so weird. Before that, I don't know, me and Brian weren't really hanging out all that much. So it was only ever me. And just seeing other people on a pogo stick was just so strange.
Especially
Hard to
people
explain, but
that you met like online. Like, I know this person, but I don't really know this person. I guess today it's not as weird as like back then. That was just kind of the start of it's okay to meet people online.
yeah. Yeah.
And my favorite like meme I saw recently was just like growing up you were told never meet people online, never get in a car with strangers. And now we have Uber. You order a random person online and get in their car. Like times have
Right.
changed.
Yeah.
So going Pogopalooza, what's the craziest thing that you saw someone else do? Like your first, it doesn't have to be your first time jumping, but just like watching someone jump. And you're like, whoa, that's a crazy trick. Crazy trick or like top three tricks that come to mind.
At the first one or just in general at Pogopalooza?
Just kind of, just in general. Doesn't have to be the first one. I know like just seeing people do tricks in my first Pogopalooza was just like, whoa. But that, like over the years, you've seen some ridiculous things done. And I'm really bad at picking out favorites or like top. So I just want like top three, 1 to 3.
Um, Flynn, no, I wasn't even there for that Pogopalooza double wraparound, I don't think. When did he do that? It was recently, right?
That was a couple
Where was I there? I don't
2 years ago,
remember.
3 years ago, might have been 3 years ago. It was right after I left. I was upset I missed it because I saw it as I was on the way to the airport. I saw it on Instagram. I was like, no, that's so amazing.
Yeah. Were you there at Pogopalooza when that kid did the double wraparound? Goes around the body twice.
Is that going on with you?
Yeah, was it? Oh. I want to say that. I don't know if I was there.
Dope.
Yeah.
When Hungry Cat did the backflip from the ledge.
Yeah.
That was gnarly.
Oh, another one would be Russ doing the gainer off of the plank, the death plank.
Yeah, just
and
anything. Rust
2000,
plus gainer.
yeah, 2011 Costa Mesa.
Oh yeah.
That was crazy. And then what else? Oh man, it's been so much. Dang. Can't think of another one that I really like right now.
Those two are good. Good variety there. Flynn and Russ. Double wrap round and gainers.
Yeah.
Gainers are so sketch.
Never did it. Seems scary.
Yeah. I did one down a 2-set at UCLA. The 2-set was like this big. I'm like, I did it. I never have to do it again. I can say I did a gainer down a stair set, and I don't ever want to do it again. Kind of talking about crazy tricks. You've seen like Pogo evolve. What do you think the limits are, like trick wise? Do you think we're peaking out a little bit, or do you think we're just scratching the surface on what's possible?
I think we're just scratching the surface. There's a lot more that could be done. Just need more people like Dan Mahoney to get involved. Like if there were a bunch of Dan Mahoney's, like this sport would be so different right now.
What
Like,
what's a trick
yeah,
that you
there's
think?
no-
What's like a trick you think is doable that hasn't been done? Is there anything that comes to mind?
mm, I don't know, just like a vague trick. Nothing that I can really think about, but I mean, there's just so much more that can be done with like different tricks in one air and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um,
I think the last year or two, the whole like Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, late 180 wrap, late underleg bar spin, out of random tricks has been just become the new norm, which is insane. So like, let's go like scissor kick or wrap around and then just throw a random 180 wrap in there or underleg bar spin. I don't understand all of them. It's like you're doing a wrap around, you pass the pogo in between your legs, stop it, hand it off, and then continue it, and then it's like, what? You just did like 10 things with your hand. I don't know what you did, but that was pretty cool.
yeah, I think there's a lot more potential for stuff like that. Like think that's the future. Like flips and stuff. Like I don't really know how much more you could do with that unless like the pogo sticks evolve a lot. Then you can start
I still
maybe
think
talking about like doubles and stuff like that. But I don't think that's ever going to be something that someone's just going to be able to like bust out like on concrete. Be like, oh, here's a double backflip. Like I don't think that's ever going to happen. We're pretty much peaked. Or like what are the pogo sticks that are out right now can do like with the height that we can achieve.
challenge accepted.
What's that?
Said challenge accepted.
Yeah.
I remember having this exact same talk about backflips. Like just a single backflip. I remember like Sobe way back in the day. I don't know if you remember that when the 1200 was coming out. Sobe was doing a flybar giveaway, and they had their animated lizard like jumping on the 1200. It was like 3 jumps in. It just like did a backflip and then did a couple other tricks. And I remember everyone being like, "That's so upsetting because we don't know if backflips are possible." Because at the time, no one jumped on a 1200, and it's like flips aren't possible. We don't know if flips are possible, and it's making it out like it's the easiest trick ever. And then, a couple of years later, it's one of the easiest tricks ever. So I think,
right, yeah,
definitely as technology improves, some new sticks, or even just a couple custom sticks, double flips, they're not far off.
yeah.
And you'll get one
Well,
person, throwing it, and then within a couple of years, you'll get another person throwing it.
Yeah, you need the technology though. That's the thing. If that never happens, then it'll never happen. But who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it happened. Yeah.
Yeah, double backflip over double front flip. I don't remember who was trying double front flip. I'm like, crazy.
Right?
I think it was Mina. Just trying to get onto the
Yeah.
mat. That just seems crazy. Seems crazy to me. But I also remember that same talk. Front flips aren't possible. Like backflips are possible. Front flips aren't possible. How are you going to keep your feet on the pegs? Like I remember that being the discussion. Like if you front flip, there's nothing holding you on the pogo stick. But
yeah, right.
It just works.
Yeah. I remember all these conversations on the forums.
Way back when. Good old Expogo forums.
Yeah.
What do you think would be the biggest advantage to upgrade pogos? Like, what would be a big upgrade that would allow the sport to explode even more?
They need to be lighter,
Lighter?
like a lot lighter. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. other than just saying they need to go higher. I don't. They need to be lighter and they need to go higher.
That's fair. Do you think having them
that'll-
lighter though would?
Yeah, the lighter.
Do you think having them lighter though would mess up balance in the air?
I can see maybe how that would be a problem, but I think everyone would adapt.
That's true.
It's like almost like when everyone jumps on a moto stick for the first time, for some reason they spin. Remember that? And then like after jumping on it, you just suddenly no longer spin. It's
I
like
think
doesn't make
that's
any sense.
I think that's just if anyone's first stick was a fly bar or a vertigo, as soon as they jumped on any spring stick, they spun. Even like a GG. And I think it's because the shaft itself spins, whereas on the fly bar and vertigo, it's locked in place. So the people that started on that locked in place shaft never had to worry about the shaft spinning, and then as soon as it starts spinning, they don't know how to control it because they've never had to deal with it. I definitely noticed that. It's like if they've never jumped on it before, yeah, they start the spin.
Yeah,
So
it's
funny.
weird, yeah.
It's so good. So talking about hard tricks, what's the hardest trick you think you've done personally?
Tornado Casper was really hard. That took me a while, but that day I think I did it on like my third try. But every time before that, I would be trying and trying, wouldn't be able to get it.
How long were you trying it? You remember?
I mean, I wasn't constantly going after it. I would say like, one out of every couple of sessions, I would devote maybe like, I don't know, 20 minutes to it, and I would just set up a camera in case it happened. Then that's just what happened when I filmed it for my 2018 video. I just was like, well, I'll just give it a shot. And then like third try, it just worked really hard to lock into Casper and spin at the same time.
Doesn't make sense.
So that, and then another, yeah, that, no foot bounce to Ulb's peg tap was really hard. I don't know if you've ever seen that video of me doing that.
I think I watched
It
it
was really
recently.
hard.
Yeah. I was thinking about landing in peg tap.
Yeah.
So I was just looking at videos of you and landing in peg tap, and I'm like, that does not look fun.
No.
I was trying a peg stall.
That was really hard.
Peg stall to Pop Tart into a peg tap. And I was like, this is going to break my ankle landing in peg tap. And it wasn't even going from full height. I was going up a ledge. And yeah, that's insane. I don't know. You are a madman.
Oh, you were just trying to like peg stall and then jump up straight into a peg tap? Is that what you were trying to do?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would. I can see that twisting your ankle real easy. If
it felt safer than trying to jump into it, like land in peg tap, like on the ground, like what you did. Because like peg was here, I only had to go up. Like my peg on the ledge, I only had to go up, like 6 inches. Whereas like doing an alps into landing into that peg tap, it's like gonna break my ankle, I swear.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That stuff is what messed my knee up. Like Ulb's peg taps and like stuff like that, just going from in the air and landing straight in a peg tap.
Mm-hmm.
I always made my knees hurt, and now they hurt all the time. So
yeah. I know if I go pull out my signature series, my GG, my Earl Pote special, if I do peg taps, my knees are always sore the next day. I can't imagine. I've probably only done not even a fourth of how many you've done, I bet.
Especially the ones you don't see where I'm trying to get a trick for a video and just constant peg tap over and over and over and over.
Well, the few that I've done,
right knee gives me trouble all the time.
The few I've done in videos have taken a lot of attempts because I'm not good at them.
Yeah.
So I know the struggle of trying. But yeah, you've definitely way more, probably than anyone. I bet. Closest person might be Tone.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so that was the hardest trick. So the opposite direction. What's the stupidest trick you've done? Doesn't have to be hard. Just like you did a trick and you're like, that was stupid. Why would I ever do that?
Oh, there's a lot of those when I was younger. Um,
So as an
hmm.
example, I know what mine is. 180 wrap, landing in candy bar with a leg that you're 180 wrapping on. You pass it under,
Oh yeah.
you
So
hand it off, you leave your leg, so you just straddle the handlebars, you leave your leg up there, and you just land in candy bar. It's not hard, it's just really stupid.
yeah. There's a lot of stupid stuff that I've done that I'm like that's not even cool. It's not even hard. It's just stupid.
Yeah, exactly. That's
I
what.
did a lot of stupid stuff on a moonstick. Um, oh, okay. Yeah, like I would. I kind of did this recently, but I kind of made it cooler. But where you hold the handlebar like so the handlebars are like this. You hold it
Mhm.
like this, and you jump. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You turn the stick 90 degrees, and you're jumping on it like that. Yeah, I used to do a lot of stuff like that on the moonstick, and it just always looks so dumb. Like, just I think that's just kind of dumb. I did something like that in one of my recent videos, and I did it something that was actually kind of hard, and that made it kind of cool. But yeah, I did a lot of dumb stuff like that. And
I've
I don't
always
know, I can't think of.
I've always wanted to make a pogo stick that had a steering wheel. It's like a round handlebar and then round
Yeah,
pegs. So you could literally just jump on it in any direction. Maybe that's one of my videos I'll
yeah,
make
that'd be pretty cool.
eventually. I think you could just do
That's a good idea, actually.
you could do like a 45-degree bar spin. Whoop.
Yeah, right. That'd be fun. I think it would be cool.
Right? Yeah, that's one of my stupid ideas I want to try eventually.
Yeah.
Um and going on tricks, what's the easiest trick that you find hard?
Oh, okay. Easiest trick that I find hard.
Like some
Like
people
it's easy.
just can't do heel clickers for like no reason. I think Russ. I don't know if I want to call it Russ. Maybe it's Russ. Maybe it's not. It's just like heel clickers are just like no thanks. Just,
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. Um, let's see. I've never liked doing wraparounds. Like they just I've always been able to do it, but I always just hated doing it. I never got comfortable doing it. Um, so I would say wraparounds are one of those for sure that everyone just kind of does it. But I was always scared about doing it. I always had to do it in grass unless it was on a tech stick or something. Then I would just do it on concrete. But like,
mm-hmm.
yeah, that. Um,
Want to know an embarrassing one?
hmm,
Switch 360 bar spin.
Switch 360 bar spin.
I
Yeah.
hate them. Hate them.
But with Switch 360 bar spin, yeah, the only way I would ever do it is if I did a regular one first.
Yeah.
Do I could never just jump and just do a switch. It would always have to be a regular and then bring it back immediately into a combo. That's the only way I would ever do
Like
it.
I'll do it under my leg. I'll do it in a V wrap. I'll wrap around both ways. But just a plain old 360 bar spin switch. It's like I don't know why. Like I'd rather throw it under my leg and do a switch 360 alts than just a normal 360 bar spin. No idea why.
Yeah. Never good at switch stuff. I cannot. No.
I went
Switch
through a
like 180. I've never done a switch 180 wrap. Never done a switch V wrap or McRiz or wrap around. Never cared about trying. It
I
was
went
always just felt so weird.
I went through a whole phase where I just tried to learn every trick switch. I don't know
Yeah, I
why,
remember that.
but
It's a good skill to have. I think it's good. I mean, it makes you better, but it just I just wasn't comfortable with doing that stuff at all.
Yeah, some of them I'm like, that's kind of pointless. Like, why? But it looks really cool. Like just doing like wrap around one way, wrap around back the other way. I think the craziest one, I think it was Mina that did stick flip, switch stick flip.
Yeah,
It's like,
I think we were. I was there. We were. Wasn't that in Florida
I
when you
think
and
so.
Mike came
Yeah,
to?
that I think
Yeah,
was one
came
of the
to
one
visit.
Pogo Ventures. Yeah.
It was in Bradenton. Yeah, I remember that. Like he kicked it the way because he used to kick it
Mm-hmm.
to get a stick, and then the other he did the switch like the regular way where he just like does it with your hand. It was so crazy looking.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
definitely one of the coolest things. Is the stick going one way and then bouncing back the other way,
yeah,
or the Superman
hmm
stick flip. It's
yeah. That was like the same day I think that he
yeah,
did that.
same day. And then
Yeah,
I remember after that, he's like, I hate stick flips. I don't like doing stick flips.
yeah,
He went through this whole phase where he just didn't like doing stick flips. Like, what?
yeah, yeah.
So when you were starting, you kind of mentioned this at pogopalooza, like when you realized you're like, oh, I'm really good at tech. Is there like one trick that you remember that it was like, oh, I made it. Like, I'm good.
You mean like how other people reacted at Pogopalooza, or
Or just in general, just like that you landed maybe that people didn't see, but like one trick, like as you were starting, as you're like just learning tricks, you landed a trick and it's like, oh, I'm good at this thing. I remember mine is like the under leg
yeah,
bar spin, like landing the under leg bar spin. I was like, okay, I'm good at this pogo stick thing.
yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, I just picked up on it really fast. Like I was just um I was doing big air a lot, and then in the winter, I just got tired of it. It was so cold out, and I did like I'm not about doing big air when it's like 0 degrees out. It's not. It sucked. So then I started doing tech more, and yeah, I just discovered that I was learning it like really, really fast, and I was like really good at it. Like I was really good at like just moving really fast and comboing a lot of different like my foot work, I guess you could call it, like going into tilt and then candy bar and super rad and then dropping into a peg tap, going back up into reverse, leg over to like doing all this stuff. I picked up on all that stuff really fast. And like I was doing that at Pogopalooza, my first one I went to, and everyone's like they'd never seen anything like that before. And that's when I realized like, this is I'm really good at this for some reason.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I remember, yeah, all the weird variations you can do on the tech. It's fun. It's definitely doesn't happen as much. Tone's keeping it alive.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's everything I had on my main list. I'm gonna go over to this secondary list. See if there's any extra. Oh, I guess this is a good one. The last one. What's your favorite riders the last couple of years? Like favorite styles that you've seen?
Tone would be number one.
Obviously, yeah, Tone's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like whenever I see anyone that's like really good at. I mean, I'm not gonna say Tone is like really good at the really big stuff, But I mean, he used to be pretty damn good, but just someone who can do flips and like big air tricks, then grind rails and do really good street, and then do tech. Like that's cool. Like I like that because that's what I try to do in my peak. Like 2010, I was doing front flips and back flips and stick flips, and like I was keeping up with air for the most part, except for like what you and Mahoney and stuff. I wasn't at that level. Now I'll get off and I like tornado taps and stuff that no one else can do on a tech stick, and I was like super proud of that. I was grinding rails and stuff like that,
Hmm.
but I know what it takes to do that stuff and be that well rounded and how much hours of practice it takes to each discipline of that sport. So I see Tone doing that. It's like I love that. It's so cool. Like Mahoney back in the day, he was really good at everything. Like you remember that he was
He's
really good on a GG. Yeah.
Naturally gifted for sure.
Right. Yeah. And then other than tone, I guess I would say, I've always loved Alton's style. Very technical. He's kind of a lot like how Mahoney used to be.
Mm-hmm.
He's very technical, like with throwing multiple tricks into one air. And then of course I really like Russ's street. Yeah.
Yeah, Dalton's very flowy. Russ is just go big.
Right, exactly. They're very different styles, but they're both cool in their own way for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, tone for sure. Without a doubt, my favorite the last couple of years.
Sweet. The final things before we wrap this on up. Where can everyone find you at? You want to give any shout outs, plugs? All Pogo.
Sure. Yeah. You can find me on allpogo.com, and you can find me on youtube.com/Earl Pote for all my old videos, because I'm not going to be filming anything anymore. I'm done. So, but yeah, I'm going to be doing stuff on Pogo, and unfortunately, no more new videos or anything, but it is what it is. The time has come. I had a good run.
That makes me so nervous you saying that. Like, it hurts. And
Yeah.
I'm just
Hurts me too.
I'm clawing on for as long as I can claw on. And I know it can't be easy, and appreciate everything you've done. And thank you for sitting down with me for this.
Yeah. Thank you. It's a good time.
Awesome.
Gotta do more of this stuff.
That's what I hope.
The wood one.
Yeah. It's the wood.
Yeah, you can see it's got an old master logo on it. Yeah.
That's a little blurry, but yeah.
Oh, shit. It says Master Ellenville, New York.
Yep, good old Ellenville.
Started making the two-handle pogo stick in 1957, I think, if I remember right. And then, this was what it was before that.
Little stick.
This one's from 1940.
Literally a stick in a spring.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I think too many kids were getting rocketed in the face with a pole. It's terrible. Like, can you imagine taking this to your chin? That would be awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool. This is it's kind of hard to get a good view of this. I don't even know if I can. Freaking wall. You see, it says Luz comb.
That's really blurry, but
it's so hard.
Yeah.
How about that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna come through. But just send me a picture of both of those, just so I'll slap them on the video as well.
Yeah. This one was made by an aircraft company. Then they made a pogo stick for some reason.
How old is that?
Cool. 1947.
Interesting. Aircraft pogo stick.
Yeah.
Huh.
And they went out of business like 2 years later.
Probably because they weren't focusing on their main job.
Right, exactly.
Too much play, not enough work.